دكتور عبد الحكيم بيه، ازي حضرتك؟
مساء الخير دكتور محمد باشا.
مساء الفل يا دكتور عبد الحكيم، استاذنا الغالي، ازي حضرتك؟
الله يخليك يا بيه، ربنا يكرمك.
وحشنا يا فندم، افتقدنا سعادتك في الكلينيكال ميتنج النهارده في المحل.
والله انا عندي كوميتمنت، يا دوبك لسه مخلصه دلوقتي.
ربنا يديك الصحه يا فندم.
ان شاء الله ان شاء الله، ربنا يخليك.
يا فندم، يعني احنا نسعد ونتشرف بوجود حضرتك معانا النهارده يا دكتور عبد الحكيم بيه.
يا بيه الشرف لينا يا بيه، ربنا يكرمك.
ربنا يكرم عليك يا فندم.
دي حاجه تسعدنا
هنستاذن
محترم.
سعادتك نتراي كده الاول شيرنج سكرين قبل ما نبدا.
ماشي يا بيه. انا
تمام يا فندم.
هتبقى جاهزه على الشير.
تمام يا فندم، تسلم يا فندم.
ماشي يا بيه.
احنا قدامنا حضرتك بالظبط 5 دقائق.
اجيب الميه بقى واجي لكم.
طيب ماشي. ماشي يا فندم.
هستوب الشير لحد ما حضرتك تخلص بعدين نشير السكرين.
ماشي اوكي يا فندم، تسلم يا فندم.
عن اذنك
شكرا.
ثانيه.
اتفضل سعادتك، اتفضل سعادتك. احنا كنا عايزين في الجمعيه بعد كده يا استاذنا ان احنا
اتفضل.
حضرتك اي كلينيكال ميتنج عشان نوافق عليه لازم يكون ريكوردد بحيث نعمل كونتينوس سبلمنتيشن لليوتيوب شانل. ايه راي
طبعا
حضرتك؟
طبعا دي بحاجه، يعني قصدي وتبقى فلتر دي، يعني الحاجات بعد كده.
دوكيومنتيشن
لا
دوكيومنتيشن شغلنا.
وتبقى الحاجات دي فلترد، نقول بعديها على طول ان الحاله دي والحاله دي والحاله دي ممكن تتقدم كويس. دي تبقى
بالظبط
فرصه، او دي مثلا تبقى على طول اللي تتحط تترفع على طول على اليوتيوب.
بالظبط يا فندم.
اه
لان
واحنا
شغل
عايزين.
كتير قوي بيبقى لوست يا فندم.
طبعا وعايزين ننظم الحاجات دي، لان الحاجات دي جزء كبير من بتبقى يعني ايه، مش اورجنايزد بالصوره اللي تقدر تاخد منها الداتا.
تمام تمام
فيبقى من الاول احنا بنتفق مع مكان، انت الحالات هتعرض بالصوره الفلانيه، شكلها الفلاني، اللوجو
تمام
بتاع الجمعيه يكون موجود عليها،
تمام.
بحيث ان الناس تبقى ايه، تبقى هي دوكيمنت عندك، حتى ما حدش يقدر ياخدها، يبقى اللوجو بتاع الجمعيه موجود في كل حاجه
بالظبط
فيها.
بالظبط يا فندم، بالظبط. دي سهله سهله قوي
اه
تتعمل، مفيش مشكله
يعني احنا
خالص يا فندم.
لو قلنا للناس، الناس هتهتم وتعملها ان شاء الله.
هو حاجات كتيره قوي لوست مننا في الفترات اللي فاتت يا فندم. فاحنا
اه
وي هوب ان شاء الله يعني يكون في يعني كونتينوس ريكوردنج وريجستريشن للشغل بتاع الجمعيه وللشغل بتاع الاساتذه الافاضل يعني.
لا طبعا هنستفيد كتير منه ان شاء الله. ان
ربنا يكرم ان شاء الله يا فندم.
شاء الله ان شاء الله يا
احنا
فندم.
قدامنا بالظبط 3 دقائق ونبتدي يا استاذ.
ماشي، انا جاهز بقى حضرتك وقت ما
ربنا
حضرتك.
يديك الصحه يا فندم.
مم.
هو الكلينيكال ميتنج جاي هيبقى عين شمس ان شاء الله
هيبقى عين شمس في اخر فبراير ان شاء الله.
اخر فبراير.
هيبقى اظن 22 فبراير او حاجه زي كده.
مارس هيبقى فيه كذا حاجه، هيبقى فيه الفيوم وهيبقى فيه بنها.
مارس هيبقى فيه الفيوم او بنها بس الفيوم وبنها بس، متهيألي مفيش
فيوم
يعني.
وبنها، الفيوم في الاول وبنها في الوسط في النص.
هو وسط يعني 23 ان شاء الله، رمضان كل سنه وحضرتك طيب،
كل
فهتبقى يا
سنه
دوب.
حضرتك طيب يا فندم. ربنا يديك الصحه يا فندم. اسمح لي حضرتك اقدم حضرتك الدكتور عبد الحكيم بيه.
اتفضل يا
بسم
فندم،
الله الرحمن
اتفضل.
الرحيم. طبعا يسعدنا ويشرفنا ان يكون موجود معانا يعني احد اساتذتنا الافاضل، استاذ دكتور عبد الحكيم مسعود، استاذ جراحه العظام والبايونير اوف ابر ليمب سيرجري في مصر وفي العالم العربي. دكتور عبد الحكيم دايما بينورنا وبيمتعنا بمحاضراته الشيقه الممتعه، خصوصا ان المحاضره النهارده محاضره في غايه الاهميه ولازم كلنا فعلا نبقى اورينتد بيها كويس قوي. فاحنا بنشكر استاذنا الفاضل استاذ دكتور عبد الحكيم بيه على تشريفه معانا النهارده يا فندم. شكرا يا استاذ.
شكرا جزيلا وشرف ليا يا دكتور محمد ان انا اكون مع حضرتك ومع الزملاء.
شكرا يا فندم.
تسمح لي نبتدي يا بيه؟
اتفضل يا استاذ.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ان شاء الله النهارده هنبتدي توك سهله جدا عن الفراكشر ديستال ريديوس الديسيجن ميكنج. اولويز وي فيس حاجات بالفراكشر ديستال ريديوس ويبقى عندنا مشكله في الديسيجن بين الاوفر تريتمنت والاندر تريتمنت والبروبر تريتمنت. هناخد بعض الامثله. This is patient 54 years old presented with this type of fractures. معلش صوره مزوزه شويه. ده في ستيج في اول يوم ليه قرر يتعمل له كونزرفاتيف تريتمنت، ودي كانت الاكس رايز في الكونزرفاتيف تريتمنت والتريتنج فيزيشن اكسبتنج ذيس بيكتشر. البيشنت يونايتد في ذيس بيكتشرز ما كانش راضي. بعد 4 مانث اتعمل له كوركتيف اوستيوتومي. الكوركتيف اوستيوتومي able to correct الراديال angulation but still في some positive ulnar variance عشان الشورتنج ما تحسنش completely. العيان ده فضل unsatisfied واضطرينا بعد كده بعد حوالي سنه نعمل له ulnar shortening osteotomy. فديس patient عشان decision based in 3 treatment stage. Stage 1 conservative treatment وانا اتعمل له corrective osteotomy which was not sufficient and then اتعمل له ulnar shortening لحد ما افسد. ده على العكس تماما. This patient is 77 years old. This one from the AO library. This patient presented with fracture distal radius with this type of comminution. اتعمل لها treated conservatively ودي الاكس راي after treatment. وكان at that time it is accepted for her age to be treated with this reduction. وبقت ده في الدي بتاع التروما. بعد 4 weeks حصل لها complete loss of reduction وبقت دي الصورة. البيشنت refused اي تريتمنت تاني وما رضتش تعمل سيرجري وفضلت بهذه الصورة. ده الرينج بتاعها بعد 6 weeks وشي accepted و very satisfied بالتريتمنت بتاعها بالكونزرفتيف والبالمال يونيون. فوان بيشنت كان مان 54 years old اتعمل له 3 trials عشان يوصل لساتسفاكتوري تريتمنت. وديس بيشنت يونايتد in مال يونيون وشي ساتسفايد بالمان يونيون بتاعها. نبص كيس ثالثه. ده بيشنت عنده فراكشر ديستال ريديوس. ده بيشتغل اوفيس ورك على الكمبيوتر. اتعمل له كلوز ريدكشن وبيننج. بعد 4 weeks حصل له ريديسبليسمنت وده السي تي بتاعه. ده يمثل اختيار wrong decision for the type of treatment needed by this patient عشان في some fragments ما كانتش fixed. ده مثال fourth patient 50 years old. كان it looks like simple partum fractures. اتعمل له conservative treatment بالبولار بليت but بعد 6 weeks حصل له redisplacement. ما نبص بدول where the surgeon did go wrong. هل في الديسيجن في الفيرست بيشنت؟ هل في الديسيجن لما كان عايز يعمل اوبريشن للومن اللي هي 77 years وشي ريفيوزد وساتسفايد بالماليونيون؟ هل اختيار الواير في الثيرد كيس كان غلط؟ هل اختيار البليت في الفورث كيس كان غلط؟ ده اللي احنا نامل at the end of this talk ان احنا نغطي نشوف الفرق بين الاوفر تريتمنت والاندر تريتمنت والامبروبر سيرجيكال ديسيجن. في مالتيبل يعني لما جو ثرو الليتشرز فور ديستال ريديوس تلاقيها مالتيبل تريت. يعني ده الكلام ده قاله ليتشمان في سنه 2010 multiple treatment options. الليتريتشرز بتاعتها كلها عباره عن كيس سيريز بروسبكتيف او ريتروسبكتيف، ما هياش لونج تيرم فولو اب. الجايد لاينز في الامريكان اكاديمي مدين 29 ريكومنديشن لديستال ريديوس، 5 of them moderate، 7 week، 14 inclusive. for all types of treatment ما فيش solid data على التريتمنت اوبشن. ده كل ده يخلينا في more controversy، ويخلي الديسيجن should be built by the surgeons and the patient for each patient specific treatment. learning outcome of this talk، هنشوف لو سيبنا العيان يخش في malunion ايه الافكت اوف malunion. to define to assess the quality of reduction and disability، to determine the study the fracture configuration، ونشوف الانديكيشن of operative treatment، ونشوف الفيكسيشن تكنيك based on the fracture configuration. ليه في some patients زي البيشنت الاولاني you have to treat this patient more active. الeffect of long standing malunion may lead DRUJ problem like impaction، incongruity، وinstability. دول بيخلوا العيان دايما عنده ulnar side wrist pain، والعيان cannot do full supination، ودي بتبقى المين بروبلمز بتاعتهم. الانتر ارتيكولار ستيب بتؤدي الى راديوكاربال ارثرايتس، and this is لو الستيب دي اكتر من 2-3 ملم بيبقى تقريبا 80% of the patient had distal radius arthritis. This may be not symptomatic in some patients but symptomatic in manual workers. العيانين اللي بيلحموا في dorsal malunion ده بيؤدي الى secondary mid carpal instability، وبيحصل localized stress، والستريس ده بيؤدي الى arthritis. If we go to classification of distal radius fracture based in which for the treatment plan، let me know in 1984 the first one is described the die punch fractures and the separation of the volar and dorsal fragments. Rickley and Regazzoni in 1996 they first described the three columns, radial column and the intermediate column, which is the lunate. The radial column is the scaphoid. The intermediate column is the lunate one, and the medial column, which is the ulnar styloid, ulna, and tracheotomy bone. And they built the fixation according to the three columns. Fragment-specific fixation is based on the fracture classification. This defined more on the radial. They define between the dorsal wall, the volar rim, the dorso-ulnar corner, the volar ulnar corner, and the intermediate fragment and the radial styloid. So each one of these is involved. It needs specific treatment. So we have to concentrate on the details of the fracture. If the fracture involving the radial styloid, ulnar dorsal, ulnar volar, the wall which was described first as dorsal partum or volar partum fractures. So each one of these specific fragment should be studied well and need specific fixation. The AO in the last classification separates the ulna from the radius. So it was only type 2, then it's called 2R or 2U according to the involvement in the ulna or the radius only. And classified is type A is the extra articular, type B is partial articular, and classified it to the radial styloid, ulnar corner, dorsal partum, and volar partum. And then type C, which is if it's simple, it's C1. If it is metaphyseal comminution, is C2. If metaphyseal and articular comminution, it's C3. Fernandez in 1997, the first one, he described, he announces the presence of ligamentous injury associated with distal radius fractures, and he's the only one stressed on the associated ligamentous injury. So if we go to decision making, how to decide? There is some question have to be answered before decision of distal radius fracture. The first one is the fracture reduction, quality and stability. Is the fracture reduced need reduction, and if it's stable or not stable after reduction. And then if this fracture is unstable or needs reduction, does the patient could tolerate malunion like the woman, or cannot tolerate malunion like the first case? So we decide which best addition should be discussed with the patient. And then if we decided to go for the fixation, we have to study the fracture detail. And then after that, after studying the fracture detail, we should decide which technique we'll use. So is the fracture need reduction? Type patient, where is the instability, which technique, and how I do it. Which technique may be wires, maybe external fixation, maybe internal fixation, and we'll go for that, which fixation device and which approach. We'll go to the first one, reduction quality and stability. Does the fracture need reduction? If the fracture liable to redisplacement after reduction, and then what are the criteria of acceptable reduction? We'll go for each one of these one. We go for the rule of 2. If there is intra-articular step less than 2 millimeters, this fracture doesn't need reduction. If the radial shortening is less than 2 millimeters, this not need reduction, it's accepted. If this DRUJ integrity less than 2 millimeters, this is acceptable reduction. We go to the volar tilt and the radial inclination. If we got loss of 10 degrees of volar tilt or 10 degrees of radial inclination, this is accepted. The volar tilt is 10 degree volar. If it reaches 0, there is no volar tilt, it is accepted reduction. But dorsal angulation is not accepted. This is always an area of confusion. It's called loss of 10 degrees. Loss of 10 degrees doesn't mean 10 degrees dorsal. This means 10 degrees loss of volar, so it reaches 0. And the loss of radial inclination 10 degrees. So it is 2 millimeters for interarticular, for radial shortening, for DRGO incongruity, and the loss of 10 degrees of volar tilt and the radial inclination. If we have one of these, this is acceptable reduction. If more than 2 millimeters or less than more than 10 degrees, this is unacceptable and needs the reduction. And then we'll go to if the fracture need reduction, I will do reduction. We'll discuss after that. Is the fracture will redisplaced after, or will be stable? This is depend on to study the stability. I want to stress that the pre-reduction X-ray is very important. It is not this is the patient before reduction, and this is after reduction. After reduction, it looks like quite nice, but we study on the pre-reduction X-ray if it's stable or not stable. What is the unstable fractures? We look to interarticular involvement. If it is comminution in interarticular, this is unstable. The degree of displacement is the radial inclination and in the radial displacement and shortening. And for this radioulnar joint involvement, we look for the comminution, volar or dorsal. You can imagine the articular surface as a chair or a roof, and this is the column supporting the roof. If there is comminution on one of these legs, it will be collapsed. So the 4 core thesis should be intact. What are the signs of instability? Sign 1 and 2, this volar or dorsal comminution, more than 50%. If there is volar comminution or there is dorsal comminution more than the volar percent, this is the dorsal cortex, it's involved in more than 50%. If this is more than 50% comminution, this means this fracture unstable. If the initial displacement more than 10 millimeters, even after reduction, this will displace again. So the initial displacement is very important. Shortening more than 10 millimeters or radial displacement more than 10 millimeters, this means the fracture unstable. If there is interarticular step more than 2-3 millimeters, this is unstable fractures. If there is associated, I'm not saying ulnar styloid, associated distal ulnar fracture, this is unstable fractures. And if there is osteoporosis, massive osteoporosis, this is unstable fracture. So to repeat this, dorsal ovular comminution more than 50%, initial shortening or initial displacement more than 10 millimeters, interarticular disruption, associated ulnar styloid fractures, massive osteoporosis, all these are signs of instability. And this fracture will be redisplaced after reduction. So we go after that. If the fracture unstable, does the patient will tolerate malunion like the woman, his age and his capability? We have to recognize that the studies occur in two age group: low energy patient above 60, 65, 70, or young active patient. So this patient should be treated differently than this patient. So if the patient young and high demand, this patient needs surgery if it has unstable fractures. But if for elderly patient with low demand, we'll discuss with the patient, he will accept malunion, he'll accept cosmetic deformity, but he has good function, but he has a deformity and limitation of some degrees of supination. If the patient accepting deformity, will go to conservative treatment. If no, will go to surgery. So this is depend on the patient decision. You have to discuss with the patient what he will accept malunion or not accepting malunion. If we go to the literature, we find that most of patients above 60 years can tolerate malunion with good functional outcome. But regardless the radiographic measurement, but except the patient اللي عندهم interarticular deformity, they suffer from malunion. So we should consider patient above 60 with interarticular deformity that they cannot tolerate malunion. وespecially في الحاجات هم ما قدروش يعملوا حاجات زي turning الكي نوبس، يفتحوا الباب، يفتحوا برطمان، opening jars. All this will be difficult for them. If a geriatric low demand patient, non-operative treatment may be good solution for them. J.C. Jopter and David Ring stated that if the surgeon and the patient elected to proceed with non-operative treatment of displaced fractures, they are making decision of accepting deformity. ودي very important دلوقتي في العيانين اللي هم عندهم legal issues. لازم ابقى so clear with my patient that if we'll go to conservative treatment ايدك هتتعوج وهتبقى معوجه بس الفانكشن معقوله. موافق نكمل في الكاست، مش موافق يبقى هنجو فور سيرجري، عشان العيان دي ما بيبقاش كلير عنده في الاول، فلازم اجو كلير مع البيشنت and his family that he will if he will go for conservative treatment he is accepting malunion. طيب في حاجات we have to take care واحنا بنعمل الكاست. الاكسسيف فليكشن ده بيؤدي الى ريفلكس باسيتيك ديستروفي، وبيؤدي الى ميديان نيرف انترابمنت، وبيؤدي الى loss of function and will not control the fracture anymore. So we should splint the hand in neutral flexion, not palmar flexion. We should encourage the patient to use his elbow and shoulder and use his finger. So please avoid to use the arm sling. Ask the patient just to elevate his hand by his own, because if he will do like that, he will end with frozen shoulder and stiff elbow. So you should encourage the patient to use his shoulder and the elbow from the first day, and his finger as well. So avoid palmar flexion in the cast, avoid using the arm sling, and ask the patient to use his hand, and this will not add any risk more for the displacement. Avoid tight cast. Encourage the use of the hand. Who needs surgery? عندنا لازم بنعمل fracture assessment. لازم ناخد بالنا السوفت تيشو انجري، سواء closed soft tissue injury او open soft tissue injury. Open fracture needs surgery, absolute indication for surgery. Acute carpal tunnel. لما نيجي في الكاربال tunnel, we have two types of carpal tunnel developed مع البيشنتس اللي عندهم distal radius fractures. Some patient come presented with median nerve symptoms, and some patient develop median nerve symptoms after. يعني day, second day or third day or same day, but patient presented with acute median nerve symptoms. This means there are some fragments in the carpal tunnel, and this patient's recovery of median nerve is slow and may lead some symptoms and some deficit. But this patient, because they have acute injury at the time of displacement, acute stretch of the nerve. This is different from the patient developed carpal tunnel symptoms due to hematoma or due to angulation. So some of patients developed from the acute stretch of the nerve, and this has poorer prognosis than patient developed gradual symptoms. And we have to be alert when explaining to the patient when the symptoms will recover, because don't say to the patient median nerve symptoms will recover and is presented with acute symptoms of stretch. The third thing, if the distal radius associated with ligamentous injury, this is what is stated by Fernandez. This patient with peroneal dislocation, the discovered dissociation, this patient with radiocarpal dislocation needs surgery. So this is the description of Fernandez. And if we look at this patient looks simple like fracture in the radial styloid. But if you look here, this fracture of ulnar styloid. So you have to think that there is a trauma and this ligamentous injury along all this area. And this patient developed dislocation after 1 week in the cast. So it is nearly a fracture dislocation of the distal radius. And this is other patient. It's fracture radial styloid and symptoms, and the line of instability goes to the ulnar side. And if we look to the lateral view, it's oblique, and the whole carpal bones is located from the distal radius. This patient needs fixation and as well as percutaneous spinning of the carpal bones just to treat the instability. For this patient, he has peroneal fracture dislocation, transstyloid peroneal fracture dislocation, and this patient needs fixation of the radial styloid, reduction of the carpal dislocation, and fixation with wire. So we have to be alert. Some fracture looks innocent, but is associated with ligamentous injury. And the main clue in diagnosis of this fracture is just to look for the edema. If the patient has swelling, severe swelling, doesn't correlate to the bony injury, so this patient has a ligamentous injury and you should think about it. What is the relative indication for distal radius? Failure to reduce the fracture, failure to maintain reduction which the patient doesn't accept malunion, difficult to treat the patient in cast. Like what? If the patient has bilateral distal radius, it is unwise to put patient his forearm for 6 weeks in cast. So this patient could be treated by operative treatment to just to help him to have a better lifestyle during treatment. Now, what are the set of questions? The first one was regarding the reduction quality and the stability. Then we come to analyze the fracture. If the patient does not tolerate malunion, خلاص we will go for surgery. أول سؤال أسأله لنفسي عشان أنا ساعات أشوفه كتير. ألاقي كل عيان جاي بسي تي. هو should we ask for CT for each patient? And what will study for the CT? For the CT, لازم decide where the site of instability. Instability extra-articular, intra-articular, or both. Then to study how to fix. We want to know where is the instability. عشان where is the stability, you have to fix the instability at the site. Would that also determine which approach will go dorsal, volar, percutaneous, which approach for them, and which implant starting from the wire to the plates. امتى نعمل سي تي؟ عايز اشوف if there is extra articular instabilities means comminution extra articular, comminution intra articular, involvement of the distal radio-ulnar joint, or combined instability extra articular, interarticular, and DRE joint. So for the instability, you have to decide where the instability is very important. We'll go through this in details. For the CT, we have to study the coronal, sagittal, and axial. And then we have to go in studying the film from the radial to the ulnar, or ulnar to radial, and for dorsal to volar. And for the axial, we have to look to the distal radio-ulnar joint. Is the distal ulnar subluxed, volar, or dorsal? If there is a step in the distal radio-ulnar joint, or the distal radio-ulnar joint is smooth. So we have to, for the coronal, we have to look to the ulnar coronal, volar, and dorsal. We have to look for the radial styloid fragment, and if there is any comminution. Dorsal and volar, we have to look. If you look to this patient from the volar side, it's intact, but all the problem in the dorsal side. So we have to study where is the problem. We can, in the axial view, we can look at as classification of the tibial plateau. We have the radial side, we have the ulnar corner, we have the dorso-ulnar corner. So we have to study each one of this area of instability. And we have to go between the film from as I said, from the radial and from dorsal. For this fracture, we have to study this interarticular fragment, this dorsal rim fracture, and and when you go to the lunate, it's coming from the scaphoid to the lunate. If we come to the lunate, we'll find a fragment here. For the distal radio-ulnar joint, we see a little subluxation, but the joint is intact. We have to look carefully to the ulnar corner, the volar ulnar corner, this area, and the dorsal ulnar corner, because these two areas is controlling the distal radio-ulnar joint and controlling the lunate. If you don't fix this well, you will get with subluxation after that. So we'll go with X-ray. This is a film, we'll see here, this a radial styloid fragment. And if we go more dorsal, the fragment is more and angulated, and we'll get another fracture in the ulnar corner. If we go from this is the area we are coming from the ulnar side. This is the ulna. So we'll go here to the lunate. We'll see here a volar lunate facet fragment. And then we'll go, this is the volar lunate, a fragment in the carpal tunnel, dorsal fragment. And if we go to the lunate fossa, the scaphoid fossa, we'll see it also affected. So we have to study the fracture in details in each film. We'll get some example. This X-ray, it looks like simple X-ray, but here we can see this dorsal fragment is X-ray. If we go the details in the CT, we'll find that the scaphoid is hitting the articular surface, depressing the articular surface here. And in the sagittal view, we'll find the indentation, we'll find the a big dorsal ulnar fragment. And this is the lunate fossa. This should the dorso-ulnar fragment. And they will see the articular depression. And this is the area of the scaphoid inside the distal radius. And you'll find also the distal radio-ulnar joint affected. This is another example. This is the X-ray. Here we study the X-ray well also. We'll find a radial styloid fragment. We'll find a comminution here. We'll find a dorsal fragment and also a volar fragment. But from the plain X-ray, you cannot say this is the radial styloid fragment or the ulnar corner fragment. When you study the CT, we'll find that this volar fragment, Dorsal fragment, volar fragment undisplaced here. Dorsal fragment, the articular depression, and for the axial, we'll find the three parts. One, volar, ulnar volar, radial styloid, and the dorsal is one fragment. So we have to study. This is another example. If we look to the X-ray, we'll stress on this is the ulnar corner fragment. It looks simple. This is the dorsal fragment. And if we'll go, we'll find this is a picture of bone in the carpal tunnel. We'll find that there is a dorsal comminution. The volar is good in the lunate fossa. Distal radial joint, we'll see this fragment is very important to be reduced and supported just to avoid a redisplacement. And this is the example we have seen. So for these fractures, we have to buttress all these fragments. Will go for that. How to fix? Now we study the fractures configuration, then to decide how to fix. We have several options to fix. Closed reduction pinning, closed reduction external fixation pinning, ORIF, and then arthroscopic reduction. We have to think in this ladder. Sorry. We have to think from the low cost. If it can solve the problem, we will not go up. So if the patient can go with cast, we'll go for cast. Then we'll go to closed reduction pins only, maybe open reduction and pins, external fixation pins, plate, complex plating, or augmented fixation. So you have to think what is the less treatment can fit the patient. We will not go fixation for plate fixation for patient cannot be fixed with wire. This is for the sake of the patient and sake for the economy. What is more important? Do you think pinning or what we will do with this fixation? When we see all these X-rays we have seen, we find that there is a comminution and there is a displacement. So we have to think to fix each fragment, either one of these. The more important to think is the implant function. And the implant function of distal radius is very important to think about one of two things. Either we are using the implant for fixation or for buttressing, bridging, or combined. What this means? If we look for this simple wire, what this wire is doing? This wire is not fixing. This wiring is buttressing the dorsal cortex. This wire is fixing the radial styloid. So we use this wire as a fixation wire, but these two wires from the ulnar corner is buttressing this fragment. It's not fixing this fragment because this fragment is comminuted. So these wires are using as intrafocal wire for buttressing. So if we use this wire for fixation from here, it will not fix because of comminution. So for this corner, we use the wire for buttressing and this for fixation. So you have to think, is using the wire for buttressing or fixation. And this also goes for the plate. This plate is fixing the distal radius. This is metaphyseal comminution, and this plate is, all the locked plate is fixing the fracture. And we'll go also for this wire is fixing and this wire is buttressing. And then we have to think about each fragment should be, we study, this ulnar corner should be fixed, this radial styloid should be fixed. Each fragment should be fixed individually, either with the wires or plate or anything. You can use the wire also as a reduction tools. For this case, you can, this patient with dorsal comminution, you can use the wire as a reduction tools. And the other important thing when you are using wire, just don't fix through the compartment. Always go between compartments. So wire between the first and second compartment, wire between the fourth and fifth compartment, but don't go through the compartment. I always see patient fixing the distal styloid from the distal radius from the radial styloid. If you are fixing the distal styloid from here, you are injuring the superficial radial nerve and the extensor tendon, the first compartment. So you have to go between the first and second compartment and between the fourth and fifth compartment. I don't like to use this B because the extensor pars longus is thin tendon and may be ruptured. The advantage wire is simple, minimally invasive, suitable for many types of fracture, and can be used with external fixation. But the limitation is with significant articular displacement, significant comminution, volar displaced fracture cannot fix the volar displaced fracture with wire. او لو انا ما قدرتش اعمل كروس ريدكشن، كل ده مش هينفع معاه ان انا احط الوايرز. This is an example of wire. If we see this fracture, we can see there's a fragment here and there's another fragment here. And this is the dorsal rim. So you need your wire to buttress these fragments. And this is the example I have seen. And this is another one. You can see this fragment, this comminution, and this radial styloid. And these are the details of the CT, the dorsal wall, the dorsal fragment, and this is the fragment. And you can reduce with the wire. Then this wire should be removed, the curved one, this is only for reduction. Then putting a wire as Kapanji. This wire is fixing the ulnar corner. And then you reduce from the radial side, another Kapanji wire here, and then this wire for fixation. So you can add for the fragment. Sometimes you can find a depressed fragment. You can use your wire from the dorsal side to just elevate this fragment and then buttress. The problem with the wire is the skin irritation. And you have to be aware, if there is tension on the skin, you have to release this before, because this wire, it ends with bad scar and maybe infection. So if the wire stretches the skin, you have to just to open this area and to suture it better than removing. And other tip, you can just, before putting the Kapanji wire, you pull the skin a little bit proximal, put your wire, and then when you go with the wire distal, you can return. Other thing, before inserting the wire, just put the wire in the soft tissue and just move the finger. If the wire moves with the finger movement, it means this wire is fixing the tendon. So you have to change your place. This is a nice study done in the Journal of Hand Surgery, studying the safety of inserting the wire, and it's a cadaveric study, and they asked the expert surgeon to put the wire distal radius, and they find most of them the wires are very close to the nerve. So they advised, if you're using wire, just to make a half centimeter incision, do soft tissue separation, be on the bone before inserting the wire. Use sleeve or drill guides just to avoid to injure the superficial radial nerve. What about external fixation? External fixation depends on ligamentotaxis, and this era was in mid-80s, was many literatures discussing the wire, and then gradually this fades because of the limitation of use of external fixation. The external fixation can be used temporarily when this soft tissue injury, can be used for unstable extra-articular fractures, can be used for complex articular fracture with wires, can be used for open fractures to put flaps, can be added with internal fixation just as a buttressing internal fixation, especially in osteoporotic bones. What are the limitations of external fixation? Impacted fragment, especially if it is 1 or 2 weeks after the fracture, cannot be reduced with the fractures. Unattached fragment cannot be reduced with external fixation. If there is a ligamentous injury, cannot use external fixation. Because the volar ligaments are more tight than the dorsal ligament, you cannot restore the dorsal tilt. So the external fixation now is just limited as additional tools or temporary tools until definitive treatment. What about open reduction and internal fixation? It's indicated in cases of metaphyseal multifragmentary, unstable dorsal or volar rim, if there is articular fragment cannot be reduced. Then we'll go for which approach and how to fix. We can use surgical approach, dorsal, volar, or combined. For volar, to use volar plating or dorsal plating. هنختار الابروتش based on what? Based on the site, the major site of comminution. For this patient, he has a major dorsal fragment. So this fragment cannot approach it from the volar side. You have to use it from the dorsal side. Using the small 2.4 millimeter implant just to buttress this fragment. But if you have a volar fragment like this, you can use a volar plate. So for the volar plate used for volar unstable or metaphyseal comminution, but for the dorsal displaced fractures or dorsal and the dorsal instability, we use the dorsal plating. For the volar approach, how to approach from the volar side? We have two approaches. The extended Henry approach, which goes through the FCR, flexocarpi radialis, and extended carpal tunnel approach. The FCR approach انك تخش تفتح على الفلكسوكاربي رادياليس and then to open the sheath of flexocarpi ulnaris, flexocarpi radialis, sorry, and you take the flexocarpi radialis to protect the median nerve and go between the flexocarpi radialis and the flexocarpi radialis go on the medial side to protect the median nerve and go between the flexocarpi radialis and the radial artery. You can see all this area, all the orange area. You can see the radial styloid till here, but unfortunately, you cannot see the ulnar corner. So if you have a fracture in the ulnar corner and you want your blade to reach to this side, you cannot use the flexocarpi radialis approach. You have to use more extended approach. This is the extended carpal tunnel approach. For the extended carpal tunnel approach, you go from as you open carpal tunnel and they go from to the ulnar side, and then you go radially in the forearm, and you go between the flexor tendon, the whole flexor tendon, and the ulnar neurovascular bundle. So the ulnar artery and ulnar nerve and the artery will be here, and all the flexor tendon will be on the other side. For this approach, you can see the ulnar corner very well, but unfortunately also you cannot see the radial styloid. So if you want to put screw here in the radial styloid, you cannot see it. So they developed what is called 3 windows approach. You go from the extended carpal tunnel to put your plate, and then if you want to go with screw to the radial side, you just go open, take for the same incision. You take the flexocarpi radialis to the medial side, and then you go to the radial styloid to put the screw here. Instead of stretching the tendons, putting home and just taking the whole structure to the radial side, you just put your plate and then sweep and go from the radial side to put a screw here. And this is example for the extended carpal tunnel approach. You can take all the flexor tendon and go through, and you can see here the ulnar nerve, all the flexor is here, and you are exposing all this is the ulnar corner, You can see the ulnar corner well, and you can put your plate just to the ulnar corner. What about the dorsal approach? We use always 2 plates for dorsal fixation, one between the first and second compartment, and the one in the fourth compartment. But we'll go with one straight incision over the extensor pulsus longus. We open the extensor pulsus longus sheath, taking the extensor pulses out and protecting, and then we elevate the second compartment and the fourth compartment, just exposing the area to put the tendon. Or you can go here and put your plate on this side. So we need to put a plate here and the plate in the dorsal compartment. For this area, usually we elevate the fourth compartment from the periosteum. But for the fracture, for the sake of the fragment devascularization, we just open the compartment and retracting the tendon instead of taking the whole compartment subperiosteal. This is the dorsal approach, and this is the extensor pulsus longus tendon. You're taking the extensor pulsus longus out, then you expose the fourth compartment. This is the first compartment. The plate in the first compartment. This is the first compartment. This is the second. The plate between the first and second compartment. Then you put the plate. One of the important things, just to use low profile plate for the sake of not to irritate the tendons. And this plate should be about 90 degrees, one supporting the dorsal cortex and one supporting the radial cortex. If we get one example of that, this is from Reclay and Rizzoni presentation. This is the dorsal column, and this is the dorsal fragment. And this plate, what this plate is doing, this plate is not fixing this fragment. This plate is buttressing this fragment. So the plate should be as high as possible, just to protect. If you put your plate here, this fragment will be redisplaced again. So the plate should be high, just to support this fragment. And if we look to the dorsal, it comes to the dorsal cortex. We need the fracture to be for the dorsal cortex. And the same with the radial plate. You have to put your plate just up to the radial cortex. If this is the radial styloid fragment, so this fragment is liable to be displaced radially, and the dorsal fragment liable to be. So we need to buttress one from here and to need to buttress the radial cortex. This is another example. So but also we need to put one plate here and to put one plate here. And for this patient, you have to get your plate till here. You have to plate till the ulnar cordon, just for supporting all the fragment. If we look at this patient has radial styloid fragment, we have volar fragment, volar ulnar fragment, we have dorsal fragment. If we look to the CT, this is the radial styloid, dorso-ulnar, volar ulnar, dorso-ulnar fragment. And here also, this fragment is ulnar fragment, volar, and dorsal fragment. If we think to fix from here, we'll leave like dorsal parton. If we fix from here only, this is dorsal parton. And if you think putting a plate here and the screw will fix this fragment, this fraction is too thin to be held by screw. So for this thing, we have to think of fixation from dorsal and volar. But when you are thinking from dorsal and volar fractures, you have to be sure that there is no edema. So this patient should be splinted or put in external fixation for like 1 week before and until all edema gone and the skin creases is restored again. And then you can think about what I want to highlight also. This is the scaphoid, as I told you, when you're studying the fixation. This fragment is in front of as the scaphoid fossa, and this fragment as the lunate fossa. so the fracture differs from area to area. So for this fixation, we want to buttress the dorso-ulnar corner, and this is a fragment but with temporary fixation under image. This is a radial styloid fragment. So this is the, and then, so it buttresses the dorsal, and it like a sandwich. So you compress the articular surface of the lunate, this is the lunate fossa, you compress it from the volar and as well as from the dorsal. And then you go from the radial styloid just to do the radial styloid. I can tell you some surgical tip, just to go easy, just reduce this fragment first, put a buttress wire here, just a Capangé wire, just support the radial fragment until you restore the volar and radial side, and then put your plate from the radial side. Which plate? 2.4 or 3.5, locked versus unlocked, variable angle or non-variable angles, width and shape of plate, when to use rim plate. All this should be answered before choosing the plate. We don't use 3.5 millimeters plate too much now, except for metaphyseal comminution when using volar plate. But if you are using dorsal plate, you have to use 2.4 millimeter plate just to have thin plate. Locked versus unlocked. Locked plate used for comminution, and non-locked plates used for simple fractures in young adult with good bone quality. We use the variable angle only if the fracture is too distal, but if the fracture is proximal, just for the sake of money, not to use variable angle, use non-variable angle plates. The width of plate will come to that. If we see this patient has simple partum fracture with good bone quality without articular comminution. So this patient can go well with non-locked 3.5 millimeters plate, which is cheap. But for comminution, you have to use small plates. This is something I call it hybrid fixation. I don't mean by hybrid using wires and the plate, also just for the sake of soft tissue and for the sake of economy. Just for, if we look to this patient, he has major volar fragment with some dorsal comminution. So this is the volar fragment, and this is the dorsal comminution. For this patient, you can use volar plate, and as well as you use the wire as buttress, and you can see this wire reducing the fracture while you are opening, so the fracture is reduced and stable. And this is the patient after surgery. For this patient, he has radial styloid fragment. This patient used the volar plate. This was an old patient. This used from 20 years. This patient used the old locked plate, and at the same time, we use the wire to buttress the dorsal fragment. And this is the X-ray after removing the wires. Sometimes you have a very distal fractures. These fractures like what is called rim fracture. This is the watershed line. This is the maximum area you can reach with the locked plate. And this fracture is distal to this side. This one is a little bit difficult to fix it. And there is what is called rim plate, just to fix and just take suture in the capsule to fix these fractures. Sometimes you get a comminuted distal radius with metaphyseal comminution. This patient needs to have a strong locked plate, but at the same time, you cannot depend on the plate or all this area. You may use external fixation just to buttress to save this plate from bending, because this area of comminution with the plates of distal radius may not tolerate the fracture for a long time. So some important technical tips for distal radius. If we have too long screws, avoid too long screws. The long screws, as we know, the locked plates, the screws are sharp. And this sharp screw can cause tendon irritation and tendon rupture. So when you are thinking for this one, how to start to fix, you should start fixing this area first. And you measure this area under image intensifier. And if it is like 20 millimeter screw, so all screws should be less than that. Because if you put this screw first and you take an X-ray fluoroscopy on the lateral view, this bone looks like the screw inside the bone, but the screw is prominent here. So you start with the area of this area, this highest area, and put your screw, and then all your screws is lesser than that. And the other thing, for combination, we don't have to pass both cortices. We call touching the far cortex. So if you measure this like 20, you go with the 18, just till here. You don't your screws to be out, because the tendon is just adherent to the bone surface, just to avoid the tendon rupture. Because this prominent screw, just 2 millimeter, leads to tendon rupture. So to avoid tendon rupture, you have to avoid use long screws. And if you have a case, you did it and you find in X-ray post-operative is the screw is too long, ask the patient not to move his fingers strongly, and then as the fracture united 6 weeks, 8 weeks at most, go and remove your screws, prominent screws. What is for this is very important. What is about X-ray fluoroscopy intraoperative? You can, this is called the axial view. You just make maximum flexion of the wrist, and you take these pictures, and you can see your screw. This is the dorsal rim. You want to see all your screws inside the bone. So just flex the wrist and put the X-ray, and just leave your chair, go to the monitor, see this well, because you cannot see this configuration well while you are sitting on your stool. Go to the monitor, be sure that all screw tips are inside the bone, nothing outside. The other thing we have to be sure that there is no screws in the distal radioulnar joint. So the axial view, wrist flexion, 10 degrees angulation, dorsal contour of the wrist and DRU joint. And this is the skyline view. So you have to look careful, just all screws. You can go to supination oblique view to see the radial styloid if there is a prominent screw. If there is a screw prominent on the radial side, you will see in supination oblique view. And for the pronation oblique view, you will see if the screw is coming to the scaphoid fossa. So this is very important, just tangential X-ray to see if there is any screw outside. So use PA, lateral, supination oblique, pronation oblique. When you are doing lateral, just elevate the wrist 10 degrees, just to elevate the radial styloid to see the contour well. So before going outside, be sure that all screws inside, nothing outside. If you have any query, just shorten your screw 2 millimeter or so, will make no difference. So you have to look for the screws is covering everything well. Your plate is in place. Just don't go without. Where to go? For if we look to this screw, to this plate is too distal, because as we said, this plate should not be at the level of the watershed line. The watershed line is this area between the volar, and then the articular surface is turned just 3 millimeter for this. This plate is too distal, and this will cause irritation of the tendon and may to cause tendon rupture. Because if you look to this area, you will see that the tendon is adherent here. And there is also diagram said if you make like a vertical line here, your plate should be before this, inside this line, not before. Some patient presented like late with very small articular surface comminuted, and you have to think what to do. If we go to this X-ray, this is what we discussed in the case 4 with the plate. We will study where this case was failed. If we look to the plain X-ray, for the plain X-ray here, we can see this is the fracture, but the surgeon doesn't look well at this just small fragment, and he put his plate proximal and to the ulnar corner, so he didn't cover this fragment. It's not well seen, but if you look here to the lateral view, you can see this fragment. This fragment is not supported by the plate, and this plate should be buttress plate. So at 6 weeks, you will find that all the structure collapsed. You look here, and this is the fracture, and this is a CT. All the lunate facet gone with this fragment, and the whole carpal bone is dislocated from the distal radius. Why? Because he didn't cover the ulnar corner. And if we look for the X-ray for revision, this is the volar ulnar corner. The volar ulnar corner, it is not supported by the plate. So the fracture is displaced. What's the solution? Is just to go with the plate to the ulnar corner, just support the fragment, and this is solving the patient problem. For this patient with the comminution, so you have to use a plate just to support and use bone graft just to get this patient healed. For summary, distal radius fracture all are not do well despite the deformity. So we have to think which patient this patient can tolerate malunion or not. Don't overtreat by treating 70 or 80 years old with plating or wires. He can tolerate malunion, except for patient using walking aids. He may not tolerate deformity. Stability is crucial for treatment. Outcome depend on extra-articular and inter-articular anatomy. Patient demand are different, so you have to discuss with the patient. You have to determine unstable fracture. Elderly patient, as I said, can do well and tolerate deformity. Young active patient should need surgery. If you decide to operate, you have to determine where is the instability, metaphyseal, articular, or both. CT is helpful for making a reduction, and you have to study the fracture fixation and the site of failure. Pinning is good for simple articular fractures and for community extra-articular fracture. External fixation used only as a temporary method or adjuvant treatment. Dorsal plating used for dorsal unstable fracture. Volar plating used for volar unstable fracture. Volar locked plate used in comminuted metaphyseal fragment with minimal dorsal comminution. Which plate? This depends on your decision. Use small plates, don't use large plate. Use conventional plating in good bones. Use polyaxial plates for very distal fragment. Be sure that your screws inside the bone to avoid tendon rupture. Thank you.
Thank you so much Professor Abdel-Hakim على المحاضرة الشاملة الجامعة الرائعة دي بصراحة يا دكتور عبد الحكيم بيه. يعني فعلا decision making في الديستال راديال fractures. Thank you so much. بصراحة محاضرة أكثر من رائعة دكتور عبد الحكيم بيه.
شكرا يا بيه شكرا.
يعني احنا ready to receive questions and for me I have 2 questions please. First question, do you prefer in metaphyseal comminution to use bone grafting or bone substitutes?
This is depend. For if you have gap,
yes.
Dorsal and volar, you have to put something.
Yes.
But if there is a comminution and the comminution is spread and there is no gap, you cannot depend on the healing. But always remember, and this is happened with me with K wires. I have 2 non-unions with percutaneous fixation. If you have metaphyseal gap, it ends in non-union. But if you have comminution filling this gap, it can heal.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The second question, Professor Abdel-Hakim, when do you decide to use double plating, volar and dorsal, and when do you decide to use just one plate and augmented K wires?
If I have two big fragments, dorsal and volar, I use double plating. But if I have one column like volar fragment, big fragment, I use plate for the volar side and I put the wire from the dorsal side. And one technical tip, I put the wire first from the dorsal side because I don't like my plate to displace the fracture.
Yes.
So I put the wire first to support the dorsal fragment, and then I put the plate after that.
Yes. وانا شايف طبعا العديد من الشكر من الزملاء الاعزاء لحضرتك على المحاضره الرائعه الشامله الجامعه دي يا فندم.
ده شكر ليهم. انا
ربنا يكرم حضرتك. هو هنبدا بالكويستشنز يا دكتور عبد الحكيم بيه. هو اول سؤال very common question, forecast when to do above elbow if I decide to do conservative management.
الستادي بتقول ان above elbow doesn't add anything in fixation of distal radius fractures, but it add in stiffness. Yes. So nowadays no needs for above elbow cast. Even with ulnar styloid, it makes no difference.
Yes, sir. Another question from one of our colleagues: how to prevent CRPS, complex regional pain syndrome, in those treated by cast?
Don't do excessive palmar flexion. Don't use arm sling, and ask the patient to move his finger. This was some studies advocating using 500 milligram vitamin C daily, but there is no evidence. The recommendation of American Academy said this is not conclusive. It makes no difference with using vitamin C for preventing reflex sympathetic dystrophy.
Do you use calcitonin, sir?
No. If developed, but this is out of label.
Yeah, but not prophylactic. Yes. Another question, sir, from Dr. Muhammad Tariq. Please, sir, what do you think of use dorsal spanning plate in comminuted distal radial fracture?
This is a good solution when you look at that there's no way to fix a smashed distal radius.
Yes.
All will think that sometimes I cannot do anything for this patient. You will find a bag of bone, nothing to be fixed, either with dorsal volar plating. So for this patient, this dorsal bridging plate may be a good solution.
Yes. Dr. Ali is asking, is it better to use CT in almost all cases? I think حضرتك قلت indications of CT في المحاضرة بتاعها.
لو أنا عندي articular comminution, I have to order CT. If the articular fractures, there is no articular fractures and only metaphyseal comminution, you can depend on the X-ray.
Yes.
But if you decided from the first just to treat the patient conservatively, why to do CT scan?
Yes. Yes. Another question, حضرتك already answered it. Post-operative, if I discover there is a screw too long when I have to remove the screw, حضرتك already جاوبت عليه يا فندم. Yes, sir. Another question, sir. What about styloid ulna associated with distal radius management?
If you got ulnar styloid foveal fractures, it's not tip and not base, and you find that after fixation the distal ulna is unstable, you go and fixing the ulnar styloid fractures from a separate incision.
Yes. Another question from Dr. Muhammad Khalid. When to use Kaplanji technique?
I prefer to use Kaplanji technique too much, especially in osteoporotic patient, because fragment fixation with wires in osteoporotic patient, it usually it loses in 1 or 2 weeks.
Yes.
But for the Kaplanji is patterson wire.
Yes, sir. Dealing with supination versus pronation injuries, does it affect our decision?
No.
Yes. How about the distal ulnar instability, sir?
As I said, if it is unstable, go and fix, or even if in young adult, you can go and repair the FCC. Some studies provoked to do TFC at the same time, or some saying in a different stage. But if you have a time for this patient and this operation is not too lengthy, go and fix distal radius and then manage the distal radio joint instability. Yes,
sir. Is there any difference in the management of pediatric fractures, distal radial fractures?
If you mean the epiphyseal injury,
yes.
I have no a lot of experience in pediatric injury, but to me, I would prefer if it is unstable, I'll only just put one wire.
Yes, sir. The indications for carpal tunnel release in distal radial fracture, sir?
Acute symptoms or progressive symptoms.
Yeah. Yeah. The last question, sir, if in two distal fracture, may I use distal part of the plate as a buttress without distal screws if there is no purchase and repair with capsule? This is very common question.
Yeah, just put. Usually, or at many times, you don't have to put the distal screws. Just use the plate as buttress and then support with your sutures. The new volar plate, it just come like this one, and your screws come from distal to proximal, but this is very, very expensive. And one of our colleague, Professor Ayman Shaheen from Asl Aini, he used the 1.5 millimeter plate and screw just to fix this fragment and then put another plate distal. And some using some using wires and bend the wire under the plates and put the plates. And all this mentioned in the literatures. If there is no availability of the volar rim plate.
Yes, sir. We have two of our colleagues asking about the same thing. What's the time limit to revise in malunion?
This depends on the patient complaint. If you mean that this is well-established malunion, I leave the patient like 3 or 4 months until he decided really that he has some problem. Because first, when you remove the cast, the patient complaining of the stiffness and difficulty, and this usually improve like 50 to 70% after 3 or 4 months. So I told him just go and use your hand and improve your osteoporosis, improve your joint stiffness, and come after 4 months if he's still complaining.
Sir, what about the use of key wires in distal radio-ulnar disruption?
If you mean radio-ulnar pain, this is a little bit questionable, but if you want to use it. Don't cross the joint. Just do it above the joint, proximal to the joint. Put cast above elbow to prevent supination pronation, because if the patient has some pronation supination, he will break the wire and there will be difficulty to remove the wire. And one author advocate just to put the wire, and the wire is prominent from the distal and this from the ulnar side and from the radial side, because if broken, you can pull each part from the side of the wire.
How to manage die punch fracture, sir?
Die punch is just dorsal and volar fragments, and just go to see if you use one volar plate and additional dorsal wire, or combined volar and dorsal plate. But if this die punch fracture in 70 years old woman, I will treat her conservative.
واخر سؤال يا فندم.
if she accept the deformity.
Yeah. The last question, sir. I instruct the patient to do the physiotherapy by himself at home or in a center.
Just advise the patient to use his hand from the first day, and use his shoulder and the elbow, and then after removal your splint, you can advise the patient doing every day. The best physiotherapy is using the hand. Ask the patient to wash his face, brush his teeth, eat with his finger, and if the fracture in the cast will be displaced, it will be displaced without using the hand. So encourage the patient to use his hand to avoid stiffness and regional pain syndrome.
دكتور عبد الحكيم، احنا في النهايه لا يسعنا الا ان احنا نشكر حضرتك شكر جزيل على المحاضره الرائعه دي يا فندم.
الشكر لحضرتك يا بيه، وسعيد ان انا كنت مع حضرتك ومع الزملاء.
العفو يا فندم، ونشكر كل الزملاء الاعزاء الحضور، وان شاء الله نشوف حضراتكم الجمعه الجايه مع another eminent speaker في another specialty. وشكرا جزيلا استاذنا استاذ دكتور عبد الحكيم بيه. شكرا دكتور عبد الحكيم بيه، جزاكم الله خير يا فندم. شكرا يا فندم، تصبحوا على الف خير يا فندم. شاكرين.
مع السلامه.